how much time are you spending focusing on your own purpose and not somebody else's purpose? And I'm not talking about your general sort of day-to-day life and work. Like obviously, some people start businesses, some people work for other people. Like at the moment I work for somebody else, but I've also got my mind always constantly focused on my purpose. So I'm not talking about a perspective of, I guess, how you're making money in life, but it's about what you're trying to achieve as far as the best skills and assets that you have to try and help other people. Because, like, let's be honest, right? If someone starts a business, for example, or they start an organization or a charity, the purpose of that is always to help somebody. So somebody has a problem, you're there to solve that problem for them. I'm going to tell a little story that I spoke about a couple of times in the last couple of weeks in videos that I've put up about being engaged with by other organizations that have come across a documentary that I made about my personal journey with chronic illness and trauma and healing and the mental health, I guess, struggles that come along with that whole aspect. And this particular a particular organization reached out to me and said, "Hey, we really love your video. It's really trending at the moment. So many views on it. We'd love to be able to use your content, which is, technically, it's content about me, so I own it, but it was also produced and by the ABC, so it's ABC's property as well. So anytime anyone approaches anyone about the content, they've got to go through the ABC, ask them for permission, then the ABC asks me for permission to release it to them. And I've had a couple now, different organizations reach out and say, "Hey, we'd love to be able to use your content to get it out to our community to help other people because we think it's really good." So obviously, that's one of my things, like that content side of things. I made good content with the ABC. It's one of the things I feel that like I'm okay at doing. Like I'm all right sort of talking on the camera, and mainly just like I'm a good storyteller. That's what I am really. I'm good at telling stories. I do that through written word and I do that through videos. So I guess it's part of a skill that I use to work towards my purpose of also how I would like to help people. The story goes that the organization said, "We want to use your video for marketing purposes." And I said, "Yeah, that's no worries at all. At the moment, I'm working towards my own purpose of trying to sort of build up different things and programs to help people that've been through something similar to what I have, or other different types of traumas and whatever it is, and try and heal from that, not just physically, but I guess mentally and emotionally." And would it be okay, obviously, it's fine for you to use the content, would it be okay if you would also help me getting my message out there and what I'm trying to build? And I'm not talking about right now because I'm kind of still building it all up in the background. And it, just for future purposes, I would like to know that I have the support of your organization with that content and with new content that I produce to get towards a greater goal that I have and the purpose that I have and why I'm doing it. They basically come back to me and said, "Look, let us talk to our management team, our PR team, all that sort of stuff. In the meantime, can you answer all these questions about your cancer journey, what you went through, what it felt like, what you did in that time?" A bunch of things that they basically wanted me to come back and just write, answers in for, write them a story so they could build a story around me and then use the video content that the ABC would provide to them if I gave them consent. I said, "Okay, no worries." Didn't do any of the content that they asked me, like any of the write-ups and answering any questions, because I thought, you know what, I'm just going to sit back and wait and see what their answer is about kind of helping me out, get the content out in my way, or kind of help me future promote things that I'm trying to help people with their purpose. And we'll see sort of how committed they are to sort of helping people through their purpose. And the only reason I'm doing this is because the particular organization that reached out to me did not help me in any way, shape or form when I went through my journey. We reached out to them, said we needed assistance in any way possible, and they basically passed me on to another organization and said, "No, we can't help you for," it was pretty much your type of illness. We don't really, see that as something that you would need assistance for. So I was like, okay, fair enough. So we got absolutely no support from that organization. So when they'd reached out to me, I had that in the back of my mind, and I thought, you know what? I love what that organization does for other people, and they help lots of Australians. and I love the fact that they would be able to have a really big audience to send my content out to and help way more people, which is part of my purpose. But then a part of me was like, well, if you're really going to be nitpicking at who you're trying to help and how you're trying to help them, I don't see the results of that greater purpose of my content being shared that way. Just that was my personal opinion. So I thought I'd wait and see, and I'd wait to hear back from what they would have to say from their PR team and their management team about using my content. So they've just got back to me recently and they said, look, unfortunately, we can't help you out. We don't want to use anybody's other personal content or program planning or anything that they have planned to help other people, because it has to be relevant to our organization, and it's not relevant to our organization. This is in a nutshell. So yeah, sorry about that. And then proceeded to say, by the way, during your experience, what services from our organization did you use to help you through the process? And I immediately thought, well, maybe when you'd approached me about the content that I was going to kindly offer you in assistance with what your purpose is and maybe with my purpose, maybe that should have been the first question you asked, that the content, the services that you offer, what ones I had used, what I had been offered, and the answer was basically none of them, and I didn't use any of them, didn't get offered any of them, and I got kind of passed on to another organization. And so that for me is more about the fact of, like, you know, if you're going to be using my story, which I'm trying to use to really help other people, and then those people reach out to you and say, I need assistance, and then you've got some type of selection criteria as about to why you would help them or why you wouldn't, I don't see the logic in then like assisting you in that process, in that situation. So if the type of illness I had at the time didn't qualify for the services of your organization when we reached out to you, I don't understand that now why I have a popular piece of content that my illness can be used for your marketing purposes to raise money for you to provide those services to people that you probably wouldn't offer those services to, like me. So long story short, this is not about me. It's not about my personal image. It's not about the story that I went through. It's about the purpose that I have. And the reason why I asked at the start of the video is, are you following your purpose or somebody else's purpose? And my purpose, I feel, the way that I would like to help people is far greater than what this organization could offer at an in-depth level. Not what they're offering right now, because obviously they're a massive organization. They help lots of people, and I absolutely love what they do, and I told them that. But I said the way that I want to help people doesn't really align with this. And the reason I just wanted to bring that up is, like, is there a situation that you're having where what you're doing, what your purpose is not aligning with what your actions are every single day and the people that you're surrounding yourself with. So if your actions and your purpose are not getting met through what you're doing, who you're being around, whether you're helping someone else's purpose, and this, I'm not even talking about in an employment setting or in a business setting, because like I said, one thing that I do, I work in an external organization. Internally, when I'm focusing on myself, I'm working on my purpose a certain amount of time every day, because that's working towards something that I'm building in the future. And that is completely separate from how I make income in other ways. And that could be like, for example, you're an accountant because, you know, your family got you into finance, they've always been into finance, and you're a finance person, so you're doing numbers. But your genuine true purpose might have been that, you know, you went through some type of mental health struggle, you went through some type of injury you had to recover from, and it was absolutely terrible, and you realize that there's many other people that go through that sort of thing, and collectively it's about, you know, voicing that and voicing how you can help others, and that would be your purpose. So every day you get up, you spend half an hour, whether it's doing a social media post, or you write a blog, or you read a book towards moving towards your more defined purpose. And if you want to read deeply into this about your own defined purpose, especially for men, The book by David Dieter, I've mentioned it before, The Way of the Superior Man, really talks you through how to help you making sure you're working on that purpose, even if it's just 30 minutes every day. My actual coach really helped me with this as well, making sure that I'm setting aside a certain amount of time every single day to work on that purpose. And and like I said, without making it about myself and the content that these guys wanted to use, one of the things you have to realize with mental health, for example, the more you think about mental health can be selfish in a lot of ways, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but it's like when you think about what you're going through, it becomes selfish, but it becomes lonely, because regardless of the fact that there's so many other people going through what you're going through at the same time, while you're going through that point in time, it's a very lonely point in time. So it's like something like 1 in 4 people around the world are going to experience a mental health condition at some point in their life. But when I'm going through a mental health, whatever that process was, I wasn't thinking, oh, well, there's plenty of people going through this, so it's all right. It doesn't feel like that at the time. And it's the same thing, if I could relate it to the organization I was talking to about how they're trying to help people with their greater purpose. I wasn't so much like, when I see the content and I go, oh, this guy, he went through that illness, I'm not alone. I didn't think that at all. When I felt the way I did, I thought, oh man, like this is me, this is my battle, this is my journey. It's very internal and it's a very lonely thing to have to deal with. But flip that on the flip side with the mental health that comes along with that, you're always thinking inwardly like, oh, why do I feel like this? Why am I like this? Why am I like that? Where how you need to be feeling is more outward and being like, how can I use what's happening to me as my purpose to collectively start the conversation to help everybody more externally, because that's what's going to give me the overall gratification, is working on my purpose outwardly and making sure I'm just not thinking about myself all the time. Yes, it's important to work on yourself. Yes, it's important to work through those mental health struggles, but working on your purpose is a completely different thing. And it needs to be kept in mind that your purpose is going to create better results for not just yourself, but other people.